Go, Knights, go! Go, Knights, go! Go, Knights, go! Go, Knights, go! Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Knights This Week with your host and superfan Jason Banks here, who loves to bring you the Knight news every week and give you an update on where the Knights are and what's happened in Knights land. Okay, so let's get to it, shall we? And it's going to be actually just 2 games this week in Knights this week. Only 2 games to cap up, and this dates back to last Friday and last Saturday. So they had 1 home game and 1 road game. So we're going to find out what happened in those games. Of course, the Knights... and I also got a new chair here. Well, not a new chair. It's not new, but I thought I'd bring it on Knights this week because look at the cover of it. It's green. So there you go. So Knights this week. So who did the Knights play this week? Let's find out. They first of all, last Friday night, they had, we're coming off a loss. They had won 4 games in a row. And then they got a loss in Guelph, of course, a couple weeks ago. So they were coming off that loss, and the question was, what were the Knights going to do in this game? First game with all the new leadership announcements, with Robert Thomas being crowned the captain of your 2017-2018 London Knights. And your assistants, of course, Cliff Pooh, Max Jones, Evan Bouchard, and Sam Militich, I think. Might have had that wrong. I'm not sure if Evan Bouchard has one or not, but the other ones I definitely do know. So, how will the Knights look with their captain in their lineup, and what would happen in this game? Saginaw Spirit in town a week ago Friday. Knights have played them once this season already in Saginaw, and ironically, that was their only win in their first 9 games of the season. Like, that was the only game they won, and it went to overtime too. So, let's see what we got going on in this one here between the Knights and the Saginaw Spirit. And if you guys, how many people out there like high-scoring games, like a shootout at the OK Corral? If you raised your hand, that's what we got in this game. So let's get to this, shall we, and find out what happened in this game. And a lot of Knights didn't get off to a bad start. They, of course, a week ago, the Friday night before that, they just absolutely torched the Firebirds, and they were all over them in the first period, 22 shots to 3 or something. So that was a great Friday night game. This one, the Knights outshot the Saginaw Spirit 12-7 in the first period, but it wasn't reflective on the scoreboard as Saginaw got the first 2 goals of the game. Cole Caskey got his 8th of the season for Saginaw in the first, and then before the first period was up, Mason Kahn got his 2nd goal of the season. And the Knights would go into the dressing room behind 2-0 in this one. So not a very, not the kind of start you want to get off to, and especially playing a lower-seeded team like the Saginaw Spirit. Saginaw Spirit are at the bottom, are down low in the standings. Not exactly a great team. Oh, Captain, where are you, Captain? Yes, you are my Captain. I'm thinking of the tune. It's an old 70s song. But anyway, the idea is, Captain, oh Captain, where are you? And here he comes. Here he comes. 7:40 of the second period. Robert Thomas, the newly appointed captain, scores his 10th goal already of the season. 10 goals for Mr. Thomas. Evan Bouchard, Alex Formenton on the power play got the Knights into the game. But then Saginaw would jump back ahead by 2 again. Danny Kakik would get his first goal of the season at 11:35, make it 3-1 for Saginaw. But your London Knights quickly respond when Evan Bouchard, just less than a minute later, gets that goal back when he scores his 4th goal of the season from Alec Regula, and Sam Miletich made it 3-2. 1-goal game again. But before the end of the second period, Saginaw gets another one. Marcus Crawford gets his 4th of the season at 17:19 of the second. And just like that, Saginaw Spirit back ahead in this wild and crazy roller coaster game, 4-2. Shots in the second period were even at 9 apiece. So a pretty even period, but just like, and it was even on the scoreboard too. But still, the Knights behind by 2 goals. Do they go into the dressing room, get a pep talk? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. You can do this. Come on. We can beat these guys. And oh, captain, where are you? And again, just like the second period, he arrives again early in the third at 2:10. Robert Thomas, his 11th goal of the season from Shane Collins and Sam Miletich. It was a power play goal. Made it 4-3. And then we ought to give a clap for this one. We need to. Congratulations, young man. Congratulations, young man. Alec Regula got his first goal in the OHL at 4:51 of the third. Alec Regula from Evan Bouchard and Robert Thomas. And just like that, the game is tied up at 4 each in this one. So the Knights have come back to tie this game at 4. And because Alec Regula got his first goal, I think we need to recognize that. Okay. That wasn't the effect I was going for, but anyway, there we go. Wow! And coming at you with a fist pump. That's for you, Alec Regula. Again, a fist pump. Way to go. Alec Regula, his first goal, and game's tied at 4. So let's see what happens in this one. Midway through the third, though, Saginaw, just like they have the whole game long, get ahead again. So London Knights cannot get a lead in this one at any point in the game. Blade Jenkins gets his fourth goal of the season, 11:05. But then late in the third period, the London Knights called a timeout. They got on the power play, and they would tie it. Woohoo! Woohoo! Cliff Pooh, his 4th of the season from Sam Miletich and Evan Bouchard at 17:45, makes it a 5-5 game. So a crazy one down at Budweiser Gardens. Absolutely crazy. Not much defense shown in this game, but lots of offense and goals. So pretty exciting. 15-6, the shots on net in the third period for your London Knights. So very good period by the Knights in the third. Come back to get it tied up. Nothing is decided by the end of the third, so what happens? We're going to go to overtime. And so for the second time this year, between these two clubs, an overtime game. And boy, this one was over before you blinked. I'm telling you, if you went out in the third period, if you're a smoker and went out for a smoke, if you went out and got some popcorn, got some food, whatever, and you got back to your seat just a tad late, you would have just missed the ending. Because at 17 seconds, unfortunately, Saginaw got the goal. Brady Gilmore got his 4th goal of the season at 17 seconds into overtime to give the Saginaw Spirit a 6-5 win over your London Knights. So, tough way to end this game for the Knights. They never held a lead in this one whatsoever. They fought back from 2-goal deficits, but they could not win it. And as a result, Saginaw Spirit go home with the 2 points. London gets the point, but considering the little bit of a roll they were on, win would have been a little bit better. But anyway, that's how the cookie crumbled in this one, as Saginaw wins 6-5. So let's go to the next game now. And boy, if we struggle with a team like Saginaw, what's the next opponent going to be like? Because the next opponent is the Owen Sound Attack. But really, what's going on with the Owen Sound Attack? Really, what's going on with them? Could somebody answer that for me? Because Owen Sound is not exactly cruising along like I thought they would. They're doing okay, but they're not, they're not like crushing the OHL on the top of the standings like the first place team Sarnia Sting is. So anyway, Owen Sound in Owen Sound at the lovely Harry Lumley Bayshore Community Center. Yours truly has seen it, not been inside it, but I camped up near the area one year and I decided to go into Owen Sound. Never been to Owen Sound, thought I'd grace it a visit. And I did drive around where they play the hockey games. But of course, it was summer, so you couldn't go in. But anyway, at the lovely Harry Lumley Bayshore Arena in Owen Sound, let's go to this one and see what happens in this game between the Knights and the Owen Sound Attack. Now, again, I think the Knights have their man in net. And boy, I think, do they ever have their man in net? Because they just keep riding Raymakers. A new goaltender, he has played every game since he's been acquired by the Knights, Joseph Raymakers. So anyway, let's see what happens in this one. And this is a very odd game. Very odd. We had the wild and crazy scoring game on Friday, and this one was odd because in 2 periods, nobody scores. They put up donuts. How do you like your donuts? What kind of donuts do you like at Tim Hortons, everybody? I don't know. I like the donuts with the little I think it's called coconut pieces, I think. I like those ones, the toasted coconut. But anyway, donuts for the first 2 periods. Man, boring. Yeah, no score in the first 2 periods. Although London did have 11 shots in the first, Owen Sound had 11 in the second, but nobody scored. Then in the 3rd period, Owen Sound was the first team to get on the board, as Owen Sound, at the 2:22 mark of the 3rd, just 2:22 in, Aiden Dudas gets his 11th goal of the season from Cole Cameron and Zachary Roberts. Made it 1-0 for the Owen Sound Attack. So you're thinking, oh boy, trouble, because Owen Sound has a lead, look out. But, hey, dun 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 dun! Here come the Knights. Yeah, the Knights actually did something crazy in this one, as they just erupted. At 8:40 of the 3rd, the Knights tie it on a goal from Max Jones. Max Jones got his 7th goal of the season from Alex Formitton and Riley Coombe at 8:40. Fast forward, 10:36. Not that long after that goal, Robert Thomas scores again. So he got 2 on Friday. He gets another one in this one. Robert Thomas, boy, you are a great player. And look out, this guy is going to put up I suspect he's going to get 30 goals this year. Maybe even he might even get 40. But he's a good player. 10:36. Robert Thomas puts the Knights ahead from Sam Miletich and Alec Regula. 10:36. 2-1 for your Knights. Oh, hold on here. What's happening? Just a little quick long later, a little over 2 minutes later, another goal by your London Knights. Max Jones again, his 8th goal of the season from Tyler Rollo. Makes it 3-1. And then before the game is over, just to make sure they ice it, Owen Sound has their goalie pulled, and net's empty. Sam Miletich ices it. 4th goal for him. Cliff Pooh, Robert Thomas assist at 18:48. And the final, make it a final 4-1 for your London Knights. So, yeah, that was a very good game by the Knights. They didn't get score in the first 2 periods. Owen Sound got a goal in the third. And the Knights just got the first goal and just rolled. So, the Knights win the game 4-1. Let's take a look at what the stars were in this game because it's pretty significant. Because I can tell you that the goaltender, Joseph Raymakers, I think got his first star selection since being acquired by the Knights. He was the 2nd star of the game, stopping all but 1 shot. Aiden Dudas got the Owen Sound goal. He was the 3rd star. And Max Jones, the power forward, who has so much talent and is actually using it, was the 1st star. He had a big game. He got 2 goals. And, 2 of the 4 goals went to Jonesy. So there's your games for you this week on Knights This Week. So the Knights go 1-1, and they get 3 out of 4 possible points, so that's not too bad. So that's what happened in these games this week. Okay, so let's take a look now. What I want to do is, well, first of all, we got the OHL Russia annual series going on, and we might want to mention that for the OHL, 4 London Knights are represented by Team OHL, and they're going to go play against Russia. They actually did last night, first game. I'm not sure if they played 2 games or not, but they did play last night, and those players being Evan Bouchard, Robert Thomas, Cliff Pooh, and Alex Formenton, all the young players. And can tell you Cliff Pooh got a point, but the rest of them didn't get any points in the game against Russia. But congratulations to those guys, and I think you're going to see Team Canada, the World Juniors, take a really good look at Cliff Pooh this year. I think you're also going to see them probably look at Robert Thomas, I would suspect. But anyway, there's that news. Okay, so let's take a look now at the CHL Top 10 here. So we're going to take a look at this for Week 8. Week 8 already of the CHL Top 10 rankings. No change on the top again. They've been ranked number 1 there for most of the season, and again, they still are, and that is Sarnia Sting. Just down the highway an hour. They are still number 1, although they have suffered a couple losses recently. They are 15-3, but right at the top. Number 2, just like last week, the Swift Current Broncos out west, 11-3-1. 3 remains unchanged as well. The Blainville Brosby Armanda from the Quebec Junior Hockey League with a record of 12-3-2. 4th, that stays the same too. Going back out west. Go west, young man. Moose Jaw Warriors, 13-4. Sioux Greyhounds now are 5th. They were 6 a week ago, but now they are 5th. And they're right behind the Sarnia Sting. That should be a classic battle. Not just for the division, but possibly for all the OHL. Those two teams. The Sioux Greyhounds are 13-3-2. Rounding out the bottom 5, Portland Renderhawks out west have a record of 12-4. At 7, you got the Victoria Royals at 13-5-1. 8 is Quebec League going to Quebec City, actually, Quebec Remparts. They are ranked 8th with a record of 13-5-1. The Rimouski Oceanic. They are now in the CHL top 10. They weren't last week, but they are now at 9 with a record of 12-4-2. And at 10, again, first week on the rankings is out west, the Tri-City Americans with a record of 11-4-2. So that's your CHL top 10 rankings for you. Now let's take a look at the standings in the OHL. We're going to do that right now. So, first of all, let's go to where the Knights are in the standings, their record. So right now the Knights, coming into play this weekend, have a record of 6-9-2. So certainly they have been better in the last 8 games than they were in the first 9. But still trying to work their way up to 500. I think that's what you need to shoot for. Get to that 500 mark and then go from there. Right now they're 3 under at 6-9-2 for 14 points. Still last place in their division. So let's take a look now at the rest of the teams. We already saw Sarnia and Sioux Greyhounds. Sarnia has 30 points, obviously best in the OHL, and the Sioux Greyhounds 28 points. There you go. Telling you. Just said it a while ago. Going to be a classic battle between those two teams. And right now, they are the 2 best teams in all of the OHL, too. So, 2 very solid teams there. So they are 1-2 in their division right now, and 1-2 in the OHL. Back to the Knights division. Kitchener Rangers continue to lead the division with a record of 10-6-1 for 21 points. Right behind them is the Owen Sound Attack, 9-5-0-2 for 20 points. And as I said, what's going on here? Because the Owen Sound Attack are doing okay. But 20 points, just 4 games above 500. Yeah, I thought they'd be a lot better than that. So that is the top 2 teams in that division. If you go out east, we're going to see that the Peterborough Preats are leading the East with a record of 11-7-1, 23 points. Right behind them is Barrie. They're 10-4-1-1 for 22 points. And the Kingston Frontenacs are doing pretty good too. They got 21 points. So that is kind of a look now quickly at the standings and the CHL rankings. So the Knights do have just 1 game coming up this weekend. Just 1. I think they got a game. They got a game tonight, I know, but then I think they don't play till Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. So just 1 game this weekend, and they were here 2 weeks ago. The Flint Firebirds in town. And we all know what happened last time they were here. Robert Thomas just torched them. Got 4 goals and 2 assists. And a huge game, monster game he had. So we'll see what happens in this one tonight. So that is where we are with the London Knights right now. So let's go back to the standings quickly. I just want to kind of do that. You will see that the London Knights have 14 points, the Saginaw Spirit have 14 points, and the Flint Firebirds have 14 points. So they're all pulling up the rear of those 3 teams, so a pretty big game really for the Knights to try to get 2 valuable points over Flint. But they're all tied for that last playoff spot. Now, the London Knights still are just 4 points behind Guelph and 5 behind Erie too. So let's not That's not put it out of the question that the Knights can move up the standings if they play some solid hockey. You know, they're 8th now. They could be 7th. They could be 6th if they catch those two teams. And, you know, so we'll see what happens. But this has been Knights This Week for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. I try to put some sound effects in there, try to recognize some efforts, try to do some fun things. So what I want to do, as I do at the end of every Knights This Week, is I'm going to do the Knights dance for you. So here we go. I'm going to bring it up on my phone and just bring it up. And hopefully, next Knights This Week, we can cap a couple of wins for you. And we'll see what happens in the next couple games. So here we go. The Knights This Week. Knights dance for you here on Knights This Week. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please come back and watch the future shows. I love doing this show. I love following the Knights. So until next time, take care. And go Knights go. And we'll see you next time on Knights This Week.